Hello everyone, this is The Question and I'm back with another haul video for the month of June. This haul I'm going to split into two parts. This is everything I got in the first half of June, and then I'm going to do a second video at the end of the month for the second half of June. I've already gotten a bunch of books this month, so I didn't want to have another hour-long video, so I figured it was better just to split into the two. And as you can see here, a bunch of great stuff, some of my Grail books, a lot of older stuff that I've been wanting to have as part of my collection. And like always, if you enjoy this video, please like and subscribe, leave me a comment. I greatly appreciate that, hearing from people that are fellow enthusiasts who like the stuff that I picked up. And, you know, give me comments on stuff that you've read that you think I should prioritize. But let's go ahead and get into everything I got. Okay, so first up we're going to start with Amazon, and I have a mix of stuff from third-party sellers that was new and then some used stuff also. So if you've been watching my channel, I've been collecting Hiro Taniguchi works, and this is a series that I didn't have, and it is The Times of Bachin. They released 4 volumes in English. I think there was more than this released in Japan, but there was only 4 in English, so I was able to get 3 of them from Amazon. So here's what they look like. It's a thinner volume, and as you can tell, I mean, the artwork is the usual Taniguchi, amazing. I've heard that these books are a little more on the boring side, but I'm willing to give it a fair chance. But the artwork is fantastic. So this is volume 1. Then we have a volume 2. And then they also had volume 4, which was the final volume that they had available on Amazon. And then another Taniguchi book I picked up is A Distant Neighborhood. This is a hardcover. So I actually thought I owned this, but I didn't. I thought I had all these Taniguchi hardcovers, and this was the one that I didn't own. It's actually getting a re-release in a paperback version with a slightly different title by the same company, Fanfare Ponent. So that's one that I'm gonna look into and see what the differences are in between the two, because this hardcover is really nice, kind of like this, similar to the other hardcovers that they've released of his work. And so I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what the differences are between these, and if that's just like a cheaper version or what the difference is. So there's that. And then another book I picked up because of the Taniguchi connection, and then also Taiyo Matsumoto, is this book called Japan. This is another Fanfare book. This, from what I've read, is basically a bunch of French creators and a bunch of Japanese manga creators working on a bunch of short stories, and all being about Japan. So I'm looking forward to checking this out. It's got some nice kind of extra content too, besides just the manga. And then here you can obviously tell the Taniguchi story. But yeah, looking forward to checking that out. And then that was all, I think, the Taniguchi stuff. So here's some other stuff that I got. We have this I actually got straight from Amazon. This was Sirocco. This is by Gen Manga, who I found out from Archangel Manga's channel. Had never heard of this publisher before. Looking forward to checking this out. I got a used copy for really cheap of Lady Snowblood Volume 2. I actually ordered Volume 1 also for another very cheap price. I've mentioned it before, but if you have hard to find volumes or volumes that you're looking for, always add them to your wish list on Amazon, because even if the lowest price one that you see on there now is a couple $100 or $100, eventually you'll see one pop up for a way cheaper price that someone's listed, and you'll be able to pick it up. So that's what happened here. So I'm glad to have that as part of my collection. I found this Tatsumi work for a fairly cheap price. This was a ex-library copy, so it had a bunch of stickers on it. I was able to get most of them off pretty easy, other than this one on the spine. It's really on there, and there's not really any way to get it off. It's kind of pulling up the cover art on it if I try to take it off any further, so I'm just going to leave it. But for the price, I'm glad to have this as part of my collection. And then lastly from Amazon, this is another ex-library copy that I got for a cheap price, and that is, I think it's pronounced Tanpenshu. This is volume 1. This is by Hiroki Endo, who is the same creator who did the Eden manga series. And then this is just a shorter 2-volume series. This is volume 1 here. And as you can see, there's kind of, to show that it's a library copy, there's kind of a sticker that goes all the way or across the spine, which when you have those full spine stickers, like this one's clear, so there's not really any benefit for me taking it off. You can cause a lot of damage if you try to take one of those full-length ones off, so I'm just going to leave it. And I've heard really good things about this. The Eden series I've not read. Very expensive. I'm probably not going to be able to get that anytime soon. But I was able to get this for a decent price, and I think it was Promji that had mentioned this series in his favorite manga of all time, so I'm definitely looking forward to checking out and getting to see some of Endo's work. And that was it from Amazon. Okay, so my next batch is all from Libris. If you haven't purchased from Libris before, they are kind of similar to Right Stuff. The prices are fairly similar. They focus, they do all kinds of books besides just manga. So I usually wait until maybe once or twice a month they'll be having some sort of code where it's like $5 off $50, and then $15 off $100 or something like that. And if you purchase it, if the books that you get are straight from them, there's usually like a free shipping. So that's what I do, and that's what I did here. So here's everything I got from Libris this time. I was able to grab the One Times a Bachin that I was not able to get at Amazon, and this is the 3rd volume, so now I have all 4 volumes of this. I've been collecting Hina Matsuri. I think I have 6 volumes already, and so I grabbed a bunch of other ones that they had in stock at Libris. And like I said, they already discount their books, so pretty much similar to Right Stuff, where they're like 30-35% off. And then also with the bonus code I got. So I grabbed a bunch of these because I figured I'm not going to find too much of a cheaper price than that. So we got volume 6. They had volume 7. Volume 9. Volume 10. Volume 11. Volume 12, Volume 13, and Volume 14. So one of the only issues I really ever have with the Libris is their packaging and shipping. So 90% of the time they ship in a box that's suitable for manga, everything's great. This time they shipped this order in 3 different boxes, and one of the boxes was gigantic. It was probably like you could have fit like 2 boxes of like shoes inside this box, and it had 4 volumes of manga in it, 4 volumes of Hina Matsuri, and there was just a giant. The 90% of the box was one giant piece of wrapping paper. And then the books were just sitting on top of it, and because of the way it was put in there, the books had just folded in half over it. So half of these, or 4 of these Hina Matsuri books were literally almost folded in half, so I really had to flatten them out. Luckily, there wasn't any damage to the covers, but I did have to put a bunch of weight on top of them. And I think with this one, you can still kind of tell it's still very, very kind of wonky there. So yeah, so that's my one issue with Libris. Like, please, Libris, put stuff in boxes that fit manga and not just throw it in whatever random box you found, because I mean, they could have fit this whole order in that one box, but instead they did 2 regular sized boxes and then 1 giant box for only a few volumes. So that was all the Hina Matsuri I got. I got a few random volumes of Dawn of the Arcana. We have volume 3, volume 5, and volume 8. And then I just noticed the other day there was actually a couple volumes of Beastars that I didn't have. I'm waiting to get them all before I was going to start reading it, and I did not have volume 8 or volume 17. So now I have the complete set up to date so far. I'm probably going to wait till it ends. I think it ended in Japan in volumes 20, 22, somewhere in between there. So then I'll start reading this. And then I grabbed, I had found a couple copies of this series earlier, Beauty and the Beast of Paradise Lost, and I did not have volumes 1, which is here, and volume 4. So I got volumes 1 and 4 from Libris. And then lastly, I got Heavenly Delusion volume 2. They did not have this when I placed an order at Right Stuff, so I think I got the other volumes from Right Stuff, but they didn't have 2, so I went ahead and got that from Libris. And that is everything I got from them. Okay, so next up we have Book Off. I made another trip to California this month, and so I stopped at 2 Book Offs. Similar vibe to last time I went to Book Off. If you read any of my other things, like they definitely have a lot of manga, but their pricing leaves a lot to be desired. I've noticed a lot of manga YouTubers. There's been a lot of negative stuff towards half-price books, rightfully so, because of their kind of marking up books more than they're supposed to be. But I was seeing the same exact thing at Book Off. There was a bunch of in-print volumes of manga. Like a good example, I went to one that had some volumes of My Androgynous Boyfriend, which is an in-print series, just happened to be maybe out of stock at the moment, and they were selling used copies for like $25 a piece. So they're, these kind of selling used books places, they're all using like the same type of system that's marking up all their books. So I saw a bunch of books that were in-print series for more than retail, and they were used books. So it's not just a thing with half-price books, it's kind of a rampant thing going on right now, so definitely don't support those. I did want some volumes of My Androgynous Boyfriend, but I definitely wasn't going to pay $25 a volume for them when they'll be back in stock in the next few months. So, but I did get some stuff. So here is what I did get. I got volume 1 of Antique Bakery. This is by Fumi Yoshinaga, same creator of Oku, which just ended. And this is a series I had gotten volumes 2 and 3 from the Right Stuff sale. They were like $2 a piece on clearance, but they didn't have volumes 1 and 4. And so I was able to find volumes 1. And this is a really old DMP series. They have a full, kind of has a dust jacket, even though it's a paperback, has a scratch and sniff cover, which is interesting. And so here is volume 4. So both of these, they're older, so they're not in the greatest shape, but for a cheap price, I couldn't pass these up. I grabbed 2 volumes of a series that I had never heard of, but looked interesting. This is Yokai Rental Shop. I got volumes 2 and 3. This is a 7 Seas release. I got a few volumes of a series, Nameless Asterism. This is a series that I hadn't heard anything about, but Tony's Manga mentioned it on her channel, and it looked kind of up my alley, so I decided to give it a shot. We have volume 3 here. We have a volume 4 and volume 5, which is the final volume. So now I just need to find volumes 1 and 2. I got volume 2 of A School Frozen in Time. I already had volume 1, and this was the only one that they had, so I grabbed that. And I grabbed a few volumes of Anonymous Noise. I still don't know too much about the series. I had found volumes 1 and 3 at a used place very early on into my collecting, and I hadn't gotten any other volumes since, but I found some volumes here. I really like the artwork on the covers. The colors, it looks like an interesting series. So we got volumes 8, volume 10, and volume 18. And then similar here, here's another series where I've gotten some random volumes and I'm looking to complete the set. We have volume 8 of Alice and Zoroku, and volume 9 of Alice in Zoroku, so I'm slowly getting to have all the volumes. And then we have, lastly from Book Off, we have My Boy number 7. So I think I have about 2/3 of these volumes of a series that I haven't read but heard good things about. So that was everything from Book Off. Nothing too spectacular, but yeah, got a decent amount of stuff. Okay, so next up we have a group of stuff that I ordered from Cheap Manga. I had ordered from them a few months ago. Everything came. I had some books that were kind of dirty that I had to kind of clean off, especially the more white covers. They sell used new books that are that have been remaindered, so they'll have a little mark at the top of them. But otherwise and supposed to be in good condition. So I decided I had heard from other people that they hadn't had any issues, so I went ahead and placed another order, and everything came in pretty great condition. There wasn't too much issues, little nicks and dents every once in a while, but nothing too serious. So I just kind of grabbed whatever random stuff that they had that I knew I was going to want. So like example here, I grabbed Devilman vs. Hades Volume 2. This is the only volume they had. This is a series that I knew I was going to want to collect. I just got Devilman G Grimoire, and so I grabbed the one volume of this they had. They had this one-shot collection called Garden Dreams by Fumi Yoshinaga. This is an old digital manga publishing book, and as you saw earlier, I've been getting some Yoshinaga works, and this looked interesting, so I grabbed it. I think most of, especially her older work, is it's a lot more boys love stuff. I think compared to, I don't know too much about her modern stuff. Like All My Darling Daughters is really the only thing by her that I've read, and you know, that was not boys love. But I think a lot of her older stuff was that, so I don't know if that's what this short story collection is or one shot. We have The Bride Was a Boy, which is a book that I've been wanting to pick up. It's looks like an interesting story about a transgender love story. Got a color back cover here, but inside it's not color. Looking forward to checking that out. We have Love Me for Who I Am Volume 1. This cover, I didn't know what this book was about, but I forget. Someone's video was talking about good LGBT books, and this was on there, so I decided to check this series out, and they only had Volume 1, so that's all I grabbed. I got some more random volumes of Alice and Zoroku. We have Volumes 5 and Volume 6. And then we have one random volume of Hina Matsuri that I didn't get from Libris. That is Volume 8. We have this series, which is one that I've always thought looked cute, but I just hadn't picked it up yet. This is With a Dog and a Cat, Every Day is Fun, Volume 3. This is by Vertical. It just looks like a cute series, and as someone who loves cats and likes dogs, looks like something I'll read. Then we have Made in Abyss Volume 5. This is a series that I've really been interested in grabbing. I was probably going to see if the Bright Stuff birthday sale was going to have some of these volumes, but they did have a couple volumes through Cheap Manga. We got Volume 5. And then they had the official anthology Layer 1, which I think is like a bunch of other creators making stories in the Made in Abyss world. So grab that. We have Wonder Cat Caillou-chan Volume 1. This is another one of those cute cat books that looked cute to me. This is a color book, as you can tell. Looks like one of 4-panel stories. I usually really enjoy these, so I'm definitely interested in getting this. And then the last thing I got from them was actually an actual regular novel. And this is By Your Side, The First 100 Years of Yuri Anime and Manga. So I just I'd never heard anything about this book, but it's definitely something that looks interesting to me. So I feel like checking it out. And like it says on the back, the untold story of lesbian love in Japanese anime and comics. So I haven't really read any reviews in it or anything like that, but I'm looking forward to checking this out. And that was everything I got from Cheap Manga. Next, we have Barnes & Noble, a very short stack from them. We have The two things that I got from online was My Dress Up Darling Volume 2. This is the one volume that was back ordered that I didn't have. So now I have all of them up to date. And then I also got a volume of Banana Fish that came back in stock, and this is volume 4. So most of Banana Fish, I have about half of the volumes. The other half are all coming back into print this year. So definitely don't be paying scalper prices for this series. It's coming back into stock. And each of the volumes that I'm missing has like a different date that they're coming back into stock listed on Barnes & Noble. So this is the one that was coming back in June. So this is volume 4. So now I have 1 through 5. I'm still missing 6, 8, 9, 10, 13, 14, 16, 17. So still got a decent amount to come back to, but I'm in no rush. I am really looking forward to actually having all of the series though. And then next we have a bunch, 3 volumes that I picked up actually in store. So we have Colorless Volume 1. This is one that hadn't sparked my interest when I had placed my Right Stuff pre-orders, so that's why I didn't have it in my Right Stuff. But I've heard so many people talk it up that I figured I should go ahead and check it out. And here's Volume 1. It's kind of the same style of small book here, really well made. It's definitely the same type as Die Dark, the Kyu Hashida series. So looking forward to checking this out. Then we have this one-shot volume, Let's Go Karaoke. I don't know too much about this series, but I've heard good things about it, so I decided to pick up this. And then this I've heard nothing about. I just happened to see it on the shelves, and I really like short story collections, so I decided to pick it up. It's Farewell to My Altar. It is a Neo Nakatani short story collection. That is a manga I'm not too familiar with. So I'm looking forward to checking this out. I don't know if it's Girl Love. Yes, so Girls Love is what it says on the back. So I'm looking forward to checking that out. And that was everything from Barnes & Noble. Okay, so next I got a few things from Reddit swaps. I've mentioned before, if you collect manga, if you read manga, definitely check out the Reddit community, especially Manga Swap. You can always find good deals there. You're going to find stuff that's overpriced, but you're also going to find a lot of steals too. So first, I purchased a complete series of a series that I had never heard of. I saw them selling this complete series for a fairly cheap price, way cheaper than retail, and so I did a quick check on Goodreads. It's gotten good reviews. It is a series that a bunch of people liked. It seemed like something I would enjoy, and so I grabbed it. And that series is Kiss and White Lily for My Dearest Girl. Very long title, and this person was selling the whole set. Very nice covers here. I assume this is another Girls Love series. This is by Yen Press. Here's what the artwork looks like. So we've got volume 1 here, and these are all in really good shape. Volume 2. Very detailed covers. I really like how colorful these covers are, how, there's good backgrounds. Volume 4. So yeah, like I said, I haven't heard anybody talk about this series, so if anybody's read this series or has any thoughts about this series, go ahead and let me know in the comments. Volume 6. Volume 7. Volume 8. Volume 9. And volume 10, which is the final volume. So that is all the 10 volumes of that I bought. And then this other volume I bought, this was available. Someone was selling this on Reddit Swap for way cheaper than I see it on eBay or any other site. So I was really glad to get this for a really cheap price. And that is Comics Underground Japan. So this is an American release of a bunch of kind of underground manga stories. So as you can see here, this is by Blast Books, who I don't think has released any other manga stuff. The cover is not the greatest. I mean, I'm not a big fan of this cover, but probably turned a lot of people off from wanting to purchase this. But as you can see, some really great artwork, some very interesting artwork, lots of different manga styles. I'm really looking forward to checking this volume out. And this is Comics Underground Japan. And that was it from Reddit Swaps. Up next we have, I did get one smaller Right Stuff box this month, and it has a mix of some pre-orders and then also some back-ordered stuff that finally came back in stock. So first off, we have the few volumes of Fire Punch that I did not have, and that is volume 5, volume 6, and volume 8. So I now have all of Fire Punch. I've heard a lot of mixed things about this series, that it's very disturbing, but I definitely wanted to check it out and give it a shot on my own. They also got back in a few volumes of Real. I'm trying to get all of the volumes of this. I'm only missing a few volumes left. And so here we have volume 1, which came back into stock, and volume 3. So Real is by the same creator as Slam Dunk and Vagabond. And this is one of his more recent series. There was just finally a volume 15 of this, which there had been a huge hiatus of, I think it was like 7 years between volumes 14 and 15. So the series is now being completed, but it's one that I've always wanted to collect all of. So now I'm just missing a few more volumes. And then on to the pre-orders. So this first pre-order, this just, I'm a huge Disney fan, and I knew nothing about this, and it has very unique artwork. We have Donald Duck Visits Japan. This is a new Tokyo Pop release. And like I said, as someone who loves Disney and also manga, I'm really looking forward to checking this out. We have Donald Duck Visits Japan. We have the final volume of Chainsaw Man, volume 11. This has been in everybody's pickups. Every single Reddit post I see is someone showing that they got this final volume. Chainsaw Man does not typically look like the type of series that I'd enjoy, but because of all the hype, I decided I'm going to check it out. I read through the first volume. I thought it was good. I didn't love it, but I thought it was good enough to where I would continue. So I'm going to give it a fair shot. And now I have all the volumes of at least this first series. I think there's going to be a sequel series. We have The Duke of Death and His Maid. This has a very nice embossed cover. This is a 7 Seas book. I don't know too much about it. Brand new series, but just looked cute. There's that. We have Nightfall Travelers Volume 1. This is got a decent amount of color pages kind of mixed in the middle there. Yeah. So part color, part black and white. I don't know too much about this one, but this just came out. I'm looking forward to reading this. We have Welcome Back Alice Volume 1. I love Shuzo Oshimi. This series has been delayed constantly. I think at this point Volume 3 was already supposed to be out in English, and we're just now getting Volume 1. So I'm really looking forward to checking out this. I really have enjoyed all of Oshimi's work that I've read. And this is, I think, the latest work, the most recent work of his. And this was released by Kodansha. This is Welcome Back Alice Volume 1. We have this book called Cat and Gamer Volume 1. Another one I pretty much picked up because I love cats. I also play video games, so I figured I would check this out and see how it was. I'm assuming it's going to be a cute cat book. There's that. And then the most recent volume of Kirby Manga Mania. I had back-ordered volumes 1 through 3. Those came in my last month's haul, and now I got the newest volume, which is volume 4. I don't know how many volumes this series is going to go for, but yeah, it's got kind of a very bizarre, lots of very interesting artwork for Kirby. Really looking forward to checking out this series. So that was everything for Right Stuff. Like I said, a pretty small box in comparison to my normal Right Stuff pickups, but like I said, I have a bunch of boxes coming here shortly, so we'll definitely see more in my part 2. Okay, so for this last bunch, I'm going to combine together. I have one purchase from Facebook Marketplace, one purchase from Biblio, the website, and then one eBay purchase. So for the Facebook one, I've only actually purchased manga from Facebook Marketplace once before. I usually don't find anything. but I just was randomly looking at it and I found a volume for a cheap price that looked interesting and was an older series. And that is Lycanthrope Leo, story by Kingo Kaiji, art by Kenji Okamura. And this is a really old Viz graphic novel. And I don't know too much about this series, but I figure I would give it a shot, especially for as cheap as I got it for. There is a lot of hair on this cover. And the artwork looks interesting. Obviously about some sort of werewolf creature. But yeah, couldn't pass up the price, and glad to have this as part of my collection. And then from Biblio, I was able to grab Hotel Harborview. This is an extremely old Viz release. This is it says Viz Spectrum Edition. And this is part of my getting all of Hiro Taniguchi's work. This has art by Hiro Taniguchi, and it has this kind of cover over it that makes all these lines in it. It's a really cool cover that this book is in. I don't know if that's how it originally came. I think so. But it is a shorter, it's a larger size book, but there's not a ton of pages. And it is some very early Taniguchi artwork. Let's see, this is from 1990. First printing was October 1990. And yeah, I don't see this in a lot of people's collections. I assume Archangel Manga has this because he has everything that's this type of old classic, especially Taniguchi stuff. So I'm sure he has it in his from Biblio. And then lastly, I was in a first offer to them. Give them the lowest possible offer that you would possibly imagine. Worst case scenario, they're just going to say no. And then you can go from there. But the last two things I bought for times that I've done that, they gave it to me for that amount. So a little over $30 a volume, which if you know the prices of these volumes, you know that they usually go for quite a bit more than that. And so I got 10 of the volumes of the series Hino Horror. And these are all in really good shape for their age. There's one or two that have kind of some little folding on the covers, but otherwise the paper quality on these is really good. There's almost no yellowing. I think it's just because they use better paper. But I'm really looking forward to checking out this kind of unique horror style manga series by Hideshi Hino. And so the first volume we have here is The Red Snake. We have volume 2, which is The Bug Boy. Volume 3, which is Oninbo and the Bugs from Hell. And yeah, these are some very... Don't be fooled by appearances. Onibo may be the cutest demon around, but his table manners can be downright revolting. So I assume these are funny, but also scary, kind of a good mix. I'm really looking forward to checking this out. We have Onibo and the Bugs from Hell Volume 2, which is Hino Horror Volume 4. We have Living Corpse, which is Hino Horror Volume 5. So I have 1 through 5. So they did not have 6 as part of this. Then we have The Collection, which is Volume 7. We have Ghost School, which is Volume 9, and this is one of the ones that there's like a little mark on the cover, but otherwise in really great shape. We have Volume 12, which is Mystique Mandala of Hell. We have Volume 13, which is Zippengu Night. And yeah, very disturbing, very bizarre art. Really looking forward to checking this out. And then finally, Skin and Bone, which is Hino Horror Volume 14. So I was able to get this bundle, which had 10 volumes of them. I think I'm now missing 4 volumes in between that I still need to get. And, you know, they usually sell for, you know, a decent amount. You're not going to find them for too cheap. But you know, I'm happy with what I got here. These are kind of standalone books, so I don't have to wait till I get the whole set to start reading them. Each book is kind of self-contained. So yeah, that was it for my pickups for the first half of June. I will be following up with a second video near the end of June. I have a ton more stuff coming, but I didn't want to have this. I didn't want to have another hour-long video. I wanted to kind of try to speed these videos up. So. Everybody have a great rest of your month, and once again, Anything that you have any questions about or any comments, please let me know in the comment section, and have a great one.